SIPs. Okay, it's like this rocket chart. It's like it just goes. Like I remember when I was learning geometry in school, there used to be this right angle, that right angle thing, right? That triangle thing or whatever, and the hypotenuse is just like that. That's it. It's just going like that. What's happening? Will it continue? Do you think a lot of people are saying this is nothing? This is like USA 1980 where money just kept on coming and coming. What's your view on that?
Firstly, I agree and I disagree. I agree to the fact that this is not a short-term wave and this is not going to reverse very easily. Okay, because please understand, and India is the only country in the world. I've seen business operations happening in many countries across Europe, Asia, Americas. Granularity of savings that India channelizes into investments through a vehicle of SIP is a purely Indian phenomenon. In many other countries, it happens through compulsory deductions from your salary, and that's how it feeds through the equivalent of our provident fund.
Yeah.
But this is voluntary investments being done in small bits by investors is a purely India phenomenon. And this goes back to our DNA, where India is a country of savers. Thankfully, it's shifting to a country of investors. Do I believe that this trend will continue? The answer is an emphatic yes. Do I believe that it will continue with the same intensity for the rest of our life? Probably not. We are, victims of the market and beneficiaries of the market. And in bad times, we will see some of this slowing down. But do I believe that, there will be a big reversal wave that is going to likely to exist and, this is going to be a chapter that will not continue? I don't think so. This thing is going to continue to grow.
Yeah.
Now, the impact of that in terms of flows and those flows on the markets, I think you have to also look at the context of the market cap, the GDP to market cap to GDP ratios.
Yeah.
And look at the SIP flows in that context, not on a standalone basis. So, in many quarters, SIP flows have increased by, as much as 1,000 to 1,500 crores. And imagine where the average is 2,000 rupees, going up by 2,000 crores in like 4 months is a phenomenal movement that is happening at the back.
Yeah.
It's the right way for investors to participate. I get very pained by one area, which is the SIP stoppages.
Yeah.
So, while the industry sees a very large registration of SIPs, probably the first, second installment coming through, we also see a tendency, and that's the evil of access, that it's very easy to go and click a button and say, stop my SIP.
What's the drop-off looking like?
There have been months where for every 100 new SIPs came in, as many as 75 old SIPs shut down.
Wow,
okay,
that's
for incremental SIPs.
Insane distortion.
It is absolutely insane distortion.
Yeah.
In terms of in long-term thinking, I still like the idea because there are those many investors coming in new. But from a wealth creation perspective, is it a great habit? The answer is no.
Yeah.
So it's like saying, hey, listen, you're never going to learn how to swim if you don't enter the pool, okay? And you entered the pool and you got out of the pool and you entered the pool and you got out of the pool. But instead of spending a few hours before you're able to splash around, that's the thing that, I'm hoping that people that exit, come back and exit, learn. And, you might get many times wrong before you'll get it right.
Yeah. So make a pitch here. I want our audience to understand. There might be a few people who are watching this, listening to this, hearing this, and they get a feeling that I should stop my SIP. What's your pitch to them that do not stop the SIP?
It's a very simple pitch. Whether you're a commerce student, graduation student, whatever student, you learned the formula of compounding. Okay, compound interest is V, which is value, is equal to P, principal, into bracket 1 plus R to the power of N.
Correct.
Every guy in his life focuses on R, which is what is the rate of return. What you do not realize true compounding happens because of the factor of N, not because of the factor of R. Okay. If you want to create wealth, okay, you have to focus on how many years you spend in the market, not what return you made in a fund in the first 3 installments of your SIP or in the first 3 years. So let me give a simple perspective, on this one, Anurag, and I think this is an extremely powerful, I hope, a message that gets delivered to people.
Please, yeah.
So, often people ask me which is the most important investing segment. And I always believe it's the grandparents.
Okay.
Let me give you a perspective. A 10,000 rupee SIP started when a child is born by a grandparent and continued till the age of 60 with an expected rate of return of 13%, which is reasonable, translates into 215 crores.
But that's just compounding.
That is
That's
compounding.
That's just math.
That's just math.
Yeah. And even if you bring down 13 to even 10, the
That's
number...
just math. That's as simple as it is.
Yeah.
So every time I meet an elderly person and he says, what should I do with my money? I've got this much corpus. I say, first of all, blame your grandfather or grandmother. Okay. Because they should have done 2 things. 1, started the SIP for you. And 2, like they taught you, value systems in life, pick this one up and said, beta, jhoot mat bolna. Beta, chori mat karna. Beta, bado ka adar karna. Beta, SIP mat rukna.
Okay.
As a value system in your life. Because only then would you create this kind of wealth. And to understand the power of N in this equation, if a guy begins a 10,000 rupee SIP at age 30 instead of age 0, continues for 30 years instead of 60, same market return of 13%, you know what corpus he'll end up with?
What's the number?
5 crores. It's under 5 crores. 5
Crazy.
versus 215 crores. That is the power of N. So for most investors, they're always, enthused by R. It's completely a fallacy. Okay. That's how money is made and wealth is created.